Part 1. The Dismissal. At 72, Nadine Carrington walked like someone who'd earned her dignity step by step, year by year. Her knees ached from decades of teaching, but her posture never faltered. She wore her age not as a burden, but as a badge. And around her neck, always, hung the polished jade pendant, a relic of a life no one around her truly understood. That morning, she stepped off the city bus in downtown Atlanta, her coat pressed, her shoes clean, her purse clutched with purpose. In front of her, the sleek, mirrored glass of Empire Auto House shimmered like a fortress for the rich, row after row of vehicles that cost more than her entire pension combined. But Nadine wasn't here to admire. After 5 long years of saving, no vacations, no gifts, no indulgences, she finally had enough to buy a car. A modest, reliable one. Her Buick had died 3 months ago. Buses were becoming more than inconvenient. They were painful. She touched the jade pendant at her chest, a silent ritual. Remember who you are. As she approached the showroom, her sharp eyes caught movement. A man in a dark suit leaned against a pillar across the parking lot, speaking quietly into his sleeve. Their eyes met. He turned away. She kept walking. Inside, Empire Auto House was a temple of cold opulence, polished marble floors, ambient lighting that made the cars gleam like jewelry. A young receptionist lifted her head, smile faltering at the sight of Nadine's worn coat and thrifted handbag. "Welcome to Empire Auto House," she said, professionally flat. "Can I help you?" Nadine straightened. "I have an appointment with your sales director, Mr. Jameson." It was a lie. A small one. Necessary. She'd been turned away at 2 other dealerships this month without even a test drive. The receptionist raised an eyebrow and tapped at her keyboard. "I'm not seeing any appointment under your name." "He said he'd be available this morning," Nadine replied calmly. Maybe it was entered wrong. Another tight smile. "He's in a meeting. I'll send someone else." 10 minutes later, a young man approached, name tag reading Todd Keegan, Junior Sales Associate. He looked about 25, carrying himself with the energy of someone who felt inconvenienced just by showing up. "Ma'am," he said, drawing out the word like it left a bad taste. "What exactly are you looking for?" Nadine didn't flinch. "I'm interested in the Orion SE sedan. Fuel efficient. 5-star safety rating. I've done my research." Todd's expression barely shifted. "That's one of our mid-range models. Are you sure something more affordable wouldn't be better suited?" Nadine removed a folder from her bag and handed it to him. Inside, credit reports, pay stubs, pre-approval documents, her financial life laid bare. As she waited, her gaze drifted across a nearby desk. Numbers on a spreadsheet caught her attention. Red figures. Negative margins. Years of scanning documents in silence had made her eyes fast. Empire Auto House was bleeding money behind the polish. "I'll take you to our economy section," Todd muttered. She followed. As they walked past gleaming luxury vehicles, she noticed other salesmen eagerly helping customers in designer clothes. Todd, by contrast, barely responded to her questions about engine torque and suspension design. "You seem surprised by my questions," she said. He hesitated. "Most customers care more about the stereo." "I taught mechanical engineering," she said, casually. "After I retired from teaching." His expression faltered. That's when she saw it. A photo on the dealership's wall, an award ceremony. City officials smiling. In the center, a silver-haired man shaking hands with the mayor. The plaque read, "Nathaniel Stroud, CEO, Empire Auto House." Nadine's throat went dry. She'd known that name once. And his son. Long ago. "Is that Mr. Stroud?" she asked. "Yes. The owner. He's kind of a big deal around here." "I'm sure," she murmured, her pulse rising. The dots in her mind began to reconnect. Todd tried to guide her to another section when a sharply dressed woman intercepted them. "Thank you, Todd. I'll take it from here." Her name tag read Veronica Lane, sales manager. Veronica turned to Nadine, instantly polite, but with something else behind her eyes. "You're interested in the Orion?" "That's correct," Nadine said, handing over her folder again. Veronica scanned the name at the top, and her entire expression changed. "Nadine Carrington," she said slowly. "Would you excuse me for just a moment?" She stepped away, phone already in hand. Nadine watched her whisper intensely into it, casting sharp glances back. And when she returned, 2 security guards flanked her. "I'm afraid there's been a misunderstanding," Veronica said. Her tone was cold now. "We won't be able to assist you with a vehicle today." "The Orion SE is exactly what I need," Nadine said evenly. "And I'm more than capable of purchasing it. Nevertheless, we're going to have to ask you to leave." "On what grounds?" Company policy. We have the right to refuse service. One of the guards stepped forward. Please come with us. Veronica's voice dropped. We've been instructed to initiate Carrington Protocol containment. Please don't make this difficult. The words sent a cold wave through Nadine. They knew who she was. They remembered. And they were afraid. As she was escorted out, a heavy wooden door opened behind the sales floor. A tall, silver-haired man stepped into view. Nathaniel Stroud. His gaze found hers. For one long moment, his face betrayed surprise, then calculation. Then he looked away. Make sure she doesn't return, he told a guard. No exceptions. Outside, Nadine Carrington stood in the sunlight. Her spine straight. Her heart burning. Across the street, a young black woman in a smart blazer approached her. Are you all right, ma'am? She asked. Nadine nodded. I'm still scanning. I'm fine. The woman handed her a card. On the back, handwritten. They did the same to my grandmother. We need to talk. It's bigger than you think. The name on the card, Maya Thornton, Westlake High School. As the woman disappeared into the crowd, Nadine's phone buzzed. A message. Mom, I'm coming to Atlanta. We need to talk. Jordan, her son. 8 years since they'd last spoken. And now he was returning. As she stood at the bus stop, rain beginning to fall, a black car drove slowly past. The driver stared at her. She clutched the jade pendant tightly, heart pounding. They're still watching, she whispered. They never stopped. Part 2. The sun returns. 30,000 feet above Tennessee, Jordan Carrington stared out the window of his private jet, jaw tight, eyes distant. The clouds rolled beneath him like ghosts. On the tray table sat a secure tablet, its screen glowing faintly with classified documents. All stamped with the same cryptic green watermark, Project Halcyon. He exhaled slowly and tapped the screen off. For the public, Jordan was a tech titan, a billionaire innovator who had turned Argus Systems into the world's most powerful defense AI firm. 45, brilliant, reclusive. Time magazine once called him the architect of tomorrow. No one knew he had once been a soldier. Fewer knew why he walked away. Mr. Carrington will be landing in Atlanta in 20 minutes, his assistant's voice came through the cabin intercom. Jordan didn't respond. He was already somewhere else, 8 years in the past. The last time he'd seen his mother was Christmas Eve. Cold air, colder words. He brought her a smart speaker. She refused to plug it in. Said she didn't trust machines that listen more than they speak. He called her paranoid. She'd called him blind. You think you invented that technology? She'd said, voice trembling with something deeper than anger. You just finished what others started. What others? He had asked. You mean Dad? And then came the silence. The one that told him she wasn't ready to talk. Not then. Not yet. Now, he wondered if she ever had a choice. As the jet touched down on a private tarmac outside Atlanta, Jordan's focus returned. A black SUV waited near the hangar. Before heading to his mother's apartment, he made a stop. Inside a storage unit near East Point, he changed into plain clothes. Black hoodie, jeans, worn jacket. Nothing expensive. No identifiers. Then he retrieved the case. Biometric lock, reinforced alloy. Inside, encrypted devices, surveillance jammers, and a Sig Sauer he hadn't carried in years. The past was no longer distant. It was waiting. Nadine Carrington lived in a small apartment in a working-class neighborhood she refused to leave, even after Jordan had offered to buy her a house. More than once. He approached the building on foot, walking past the mailbox clusters, noting the cigarette butts near the entryway. Marlboro Reds. Contractor's brand. Someone had been watching her. He rang the buzzer. The static voice came quickly. Yes. It's Jordan. A pause. Then. Come up. The elevator was broken, of course it was, so he climbed 3 flights, his muscles remembering missions long behind him. At the top, the door creaked open before he could knock. His mother stood there, smaller than he remembered, but her eyes, those eyes hadn't dulled. They assessed him instantly: shoes, hands, gait, weight loss. Not with a mother's love, but a tactician's scan. Hello, Jordan. Hi, Mom. She stepped aside. He entered. The apartment smelled like cedar and old books. It hadn't changed. The couch was the same one he used to fall asleep on watching cartoons. The framed school photos. The cross-stitched "Do not mistake quiet for weakness" above the door. Somehow, it all felt like both home and a trap. Jordan handed her a boutique gift bag. Cashmere scarf. Limited edition. She took it, pulled back the tissue, and examined it, not the color, but the lining, the thread work. Then she held the bag up to the light, searching for embedded transmitters. "You're checking for bugs," he said. "Force of habit. And the scarf. Nice. A bit extravagant for a dying woman." His breath caught. "Dying?" She turned her back, walking toward the kitchen. "Tea?" she asked. As they sat across from each other, Jordan noticed something strange behind a bookshelf. The edge of a keypad. A hidden safe. "Do you always scan your guests?" he asked. "Only the armed ones." He half smiled. "You saw the bulge?" "Please. I raised you." They drank in silence for a while. "Why now?" she asked suddenly. "After 8 years?" Jordan leaned forward, serious now. "I found files, Mom. About Project Halcyon. Names. Dates. Tech that shouldn't exist. It's tied to Argus systems, and somehow to you." Nadine's hand trembled just slightly as she set her mug down. "You shouldn't have gone digging. You should have told me the truth." She sighed. "I was never just a teacher, Jordan. But I was still a teacher. And those kids needed someone to show up for them. That's why I stayed in the shadows." "And my father?" Jordan pressed. "You told me he died in a car accident." "That was a lie." "No," she said quietly. "It was just incomplete." After dinner, Jordan inspected the wreck of her Buick in the garage. The battery was intact. The fuel line cut. In a way that required surgical skill and military tools. "This wasn't a breakdown," he told her. "Someone sabotaged your car." "I know," she said. She had known for weeks. He asked to see her pendant. She unclasped it, laying it gently in his palm. The jade was warm from her skin. "There's something in here, isn't there?" he asked. "More than you know." Later that night, Jordan stayed in a safe house instead of his hotel. When he opened the pendant in his mobile lab, he found what he feared, a rare earth nanochip embedded deep in the stone, connected to a biometric scanner, one that reacted only to Carrington DNA. Whatever this chip unlocked, it needed both of them. And someone else wanted it badly. The next day, Jordan followed his mother to a free clinic. As she waited to be seen, he watched her. The way she scanned the room. Noted exits. Clocked each patient by shoes, posture, tone of voice. She wasn't paranoid. She was trained. And so was he. After the appointment, she asked him to walk with her. To somewhere you used to be afraid of. They returned to her old high school, Westlake. A place he hadn't stepped foot in since he was 15. There, she introduced him to Maya Thornton. "She runs the coding program I started," Nadine said. "Nice to meet you," Jordan said, shaking the woman's hand. Maya gave a small nod. "Your mother talks about you a lot." "Does she?" "All the time. She once said she hoped your mind would never forget how to ask dangerous questions." That night, Jordan couldn't sleep. He read every file he could access on Nathaniel Stroud, the CEO of Empire Auto House. Former defense contractor. Shell companies. Political connections. Unnamed accounts in the Caymans. And one other thing. A recorded transfer of over $3 million to an R&D firm specializing in cognitive AI systems. A company that had once been co-owned by James Carrington, his father. Later that night, his phone buzzed. A secure ping. It was a facial recognition match. A blurry surveillance image. Singapore. Dated 6 months ago. The man in the image, older, silver-haired, hardened. But undeniably. James Carrington. Still alive. Final part. The pendulum. The room fell into silence. Not the absence of sound, but the stillness that follows revelation. The kind that reshapes a soul. Nadine Carrington lay in the hospital bed, monitors softly beeping beside her. Tubes trailed from her wrists, oxygen whispered into her lungs. Her eyes, though dulled by exhaustion, still held steel. Jordan stood at the window, staring out at the Atlanta skyline. Dawn broke slowly across the buildings, golden light filtering through morning haze. The world had changed. Nathaniel Stroud was in custody. His empire, vehicles, shell companies, tech arms dismantled. More than 70 arrests across 3 continents. Heads of state, defense executives, senators. But the real victory wasn't legal. It was moral. It was generational. A nurse entered, adjusting the Ford drip. Nadine stirred, eyes fluttering open. "He's still out there, you know," she murmured. "Who?" Jordan asked. "Your father." Jordan turned. "We confirmed the match. It was him in Singapore." "Yes. But he's not coming back. Men like James, they don't return. They finish the mission, even when the mission eats them alive." She coughed, breath catching. "You still love him," Jordan said. "Always. Even when I hated him." The pendant sat on the bedside table. Its jade surface now cracked, The embedded chip inside burnt out, its purpose fulfilled. Funny, she said softly, how we spend our whole lives hiding the truth inside a stone, and when we finally unlock it, what do we find? Jordan picked up the pendant. We find that the world never wanted the truth, just the comfort of the lie. She smiled weakly. You're my son. Outside, reporters gathered around federal buildings. Headlines scrolled across international broadcasts. Weaponized education, the Halcyon Files expose 40-year conspiracy. The teacher who took down a global arms empire. Carrington family at the heart of intelligence earthquake. But in the quiet of that hospital room, Nadine whispered something only Jordan could hear. It's your turn now. He shook his head. I'm not like you. She grabbed his hand, weak, but with that old fire. No, you're better. You still believe in building. A week later, Jordan addressed the United Nations in Geneva. He unveiled an open-source platform, the Halcyon Standard, a global protocol for ethical AI development. Transparent, auditable, human first. Technology cannot replace conscience, he said. And power without accountability is just elegant tyranny. The room gave him a standing ovation, but he wasn't smiling. That night, back in Atlanta, he returned to his mother's apartment. Everything was how she left it. Books, notes, surveillance logs, her world. He sat in her armchair, touching the embroidered quote above the door. Do not mistake quiet for weakness. Then he opened her journal. At the very end, a final entry scrawled in her elegant, unwavering hand. Asterisk, Jordan, if you're reading this, know that I never regretted keeping the truth from you. Only that I couldn't walk you through it myself. You are the product of generations who survived in silence. Now you must speak. Asterisk. He closed the book. Outside, sirens echoed in the distance. The pendulum of history was swinging again. And this time, he would be the one to push.